This session is about determination of optimum cash balance. There are two models: optimum cash balance under certainty called Baumol's model and optimum cash balance under uncertainty called the Miller and Orr model. The term optimum cash balance means it is the optimum cash conversion size. Cash conversion size or cash conversion amount, which means the cost of minimizing quantity in which to convert marketable securities to cash or cash to marketable securities. See, what is your objective? You need to minimize the cost of conversion. Okay, what is the ideal quantity which should be converted into marketable securities or cash to marketable securities or from marketable securities to cash? So what is the ideal quantity at which you can minimize the cost of conversion? Conversion may be either from marketable securities to cash or from cash to marketable securities. So we are going to find out. Our objective of understanding these two models is to ascertain the optimum conversion size or the optimum amount or the quantity of amount at which I can minimize the cost of conversion from marketable securities to cash or from cash to marketable securities. First, let us look at Baumol's model and its assumptions, the model's assumption. The model says the firm is able to forecast its cash needs with certainty. So for next 3 months, what is going to be my cash need? Or 6 months, what is going to be my cash need? I can calculate. Using the receipts and the payments method, firm is able to forecast its cash needs. Secondly, the firm's cash payments occur uniformly. This is possible. The forecasting is possible when your payments are certain. Your payments towards purchases and then your payment towards expenses, overheads. So when payments occur uniformly and the opportunity cost of holding cash is known, so opportunity cost means that the interest or the income that could have been earned. Okay, suppose I have some idle cash. My opportunity cost would be, say for example, 8% if I put it in a bank. Had I forego this, if I am ready to forego this interest of 8%, I may think of getting into the investment avenue which can give me 25%. So 8% is the cost that I foregone for a better return of 25%. Maybe I may plan to go in for some other investment, better rate of interest, maybe equity share investment or any other investment. Perhaps the risk may be higher. Okay, so opportunity cost is nothing but the cost foregone. So I forego 8% of assured rate of interest from bank to 25%. So I'm foregoing 8%. I'm taking a better opportunity rather than avoiding an interest rate of 8% by depositing my money in a bank. So what is going to be my opportunity cost? I must know well in advance. And that cost does not change over time. Okay, these are the assumptions under which this model will work. So you must be able to forecast your cash needs, number one, and your payments towards purchases and all other expenses, and payments towards purchase of an asset or towards tax. Everything is known to you and it will occur uniformly over a period of time. It is one of the assumptions. And the opportunity cost also includes, see, there are two costs here. One is your cost of holding. Okay, holding cost. That means when you hold cash in hand, what is going to be my cost? I need holding cost. And had this been invested somewhere instead of holding it, what would be my transaction cost? Transaction cost if I convert cash into marketable securities. Or from marketable securities to cash. So I need to do a kind of a trade-off between these two costs. So what is going to be my opportunity cost if I invest in a marketable securities rather than holding it as cash? Or what is going to be my cost if I had to convert my marketable securities back to cash? So I must know that. And it should be constant if you want to follow Baumol's model. So, little more detailed explanation with regard to the holding cost. What we discussed in the previous slide. We discussed about the holding cost as well as, and there is one more point which is left over here. The firm will incur the same transaction cost. So the transaction, so there involves transaction cost. There is transaction cost and the holding cost. And the firm must know, and the cost must remain constant no matter the holding cost or the transaction cost. So this must be constant, so it does not change over time. Means what? The holding cost must be constant and the transaction cost must be known to the firm, and it must also be same. Both transaction cost as well as the holding cost must remain the same. We'll go a little further about it. So if the firm incurs a holding cost for keeping cash balance, the more you hold in the form of cash, it involves holding cost. That means at the cost of earning a better return, you are foregoing it and holding it in the form of cash. So always keep that in mind when you keep cash idle, it involves holding cost. So it is an opportunity cost, that the return foregone on the marketable securities. Suppose you hold more. When you hold more, rather than holding it more, had it been invested in a marketable securities, you would have earned better return. That you are foregoing. So if the opportunity cost is K, the firm's holding cost for maintaining an average cash balance, that is C is the total cash divided by 2, that is opening plus closing divided by 2, the average cash balance multiplied by the opportunity cost will give you the holding cost. The firm incurs transaction cost, whenever it converts its marketable securities to cash. When marketable securities are converted into cash, this cost is incurred. So this depends on the number of transactions incurred during the year. More the transaction, higher will be the transaction, proportional to the total funds requirement. So the total fund requirement is denoted as T divided by cash balance. So whenever it converts its marketable securities to cash, transaction cost is incurred. The total number of transactions during the year will be, the number of transactions will be total fund requirement, which is T divided by the cash balance. So the T divided by C is the transactions during the year multiplied by the transaction cost, which is indicated as small c. So big C, that means C in the uppercase is the cash balance, and C in the lower case is the transaction cost per transaction. So the total transaction cost will be per transaction cost times of your total fund requirement divided by cash balance. Whereas the total annual cost of demand for cash, the cost of the demand for cash, the total annual cost of demand for cash will be the sum total of, this is holding cost, that is, it is taken from here, holding cost, and this is your transaction cost. It is a sum total of holding cost plus transaction cost. So what is total cost? It is the sum total of holding cost plus transaction cost. So your cost of optimum cash balance, arriving of optimum cash balance, is influenced by two variables here. That is, one is holding cost, the other one is transaction cost. So the optimum cash balance, that is indicated like C to the power C star. So this is not cash balance, it is optimum cash balance. What is optimum cash balance? It is the cost of minimizing the quantity in which to convert raw material, marketable securities to cash. So our objective is to minimize the cost. If I am to minimize the cost of conversion or cost of holding of cash, what should be the ideal amount of cash at which I can minimize the cost of holding as well as transaction. So that cash balance is called optimum cash balance. So by using this formula, the optimum cash balance formula is derived. So 2CT, that is small c is transaction cost, and T is your funds requirement, total fund requirement, times of 2 times of transaction cost into total fund requirement divided by K is the interest rate that could have been earned. Interest rate that could have been earned. So you can now understand by looking at this chart. So here it is cash balance in the x-axis. So cash may be at a lower level, or it may be above the optimum level. So in all these cases, what happens to the cost? The cost remains here, cost increases, cost increases. So the more you do the transaction, less will be your transaction cost. The less you do the transaction, higher will be the transaction cost. Suppose your transaction is here, you may have to incur more cost on transaction. So the more you do transaction, the less will be the transaction cost. Similarly, in holding cost, the less you hold, the less will be the opportunity cost. The more you hold, the more will be the opportunity cost. The cost that could have been earned will be more. So the total cost is somewhere here, taking into account both the holding as well as transaction cost. So this particular point where your transaction cost and your holding cost is minimal, it's called cash conversion size. This is the optimum cash conversion size or optimum cash conversion amount at which you can minimize your total cost, means the holding as well as the transaction cost. So this can also be construed in different authors. They may call it as B is nothing but the transaction cost multiplied by the total fund requirement. So C is the amount of marketable securities converted into cash. That is the conversion size. C is the conversion size. I is the interest rate per planning period. So if interest rate is given per annum, you have to convert it into the planning period. Supposing it is given for if it is given 8% per annum, if your planning period is say for example 4 months, you have to proportionally calculate it for 4 months. Okay, 25% of it, 1/4, 2% should be taken. And projected cash requirements. So values will be given, just substitute and find out the optimum cash balance. This is with regard to Baumol map. Now let us consider a case question to compute optimum cash balance as per Baumol model. So Baumol model is applicable when cash needs are certain, when there is certainty of cash needs. So here in this question, it is given that the company Sauro International requires 150 million in cash for meeting its transaction needs over the next 2 months. So the 2 months is the time period of their planning horizon, planning period for their liquidity decisions. That means in every 2 months, they will take a decision to convert marketable securities into cash. That is their planning period, 2 months, for which they calculated that they would be requiring 150 million in cash. It has currently the amount in the form of marketable securities. 150 million is in the form of marketable securities now, currently. And it is also given that the investment is likely to earn 9% annual yield. Cash payments will be made evenly over the 2 months planning period. So one of the important assumptions of Baumol model is that the payments are to be uniform and you are able to estimate, and your cash needs are to be certain. And the conversion of marketable securities involve a fixed cost of rupees 6,000 per transaction. That is, here fixed cost means the transaction cost. And you are asked to find out the optimal conversion size or the optimum conversion size. So what is optimum conversion size? Where the total cost is minimum. That is at the cash level where the total cost is minimum. That is, total cost here means the holding cost plus transaction cost. Now let us move on to compute the optimum cash balance. The formula is like this. C, that is the optimum cash balance, is equal to square root of 2BT divided by I. So there are two costs involved here, and B is the transaction cost and T is the total cash needs and I is the interest rate of the planning time period. So let me put it up like this. B, transaction cost given in question is rupees 6,000. And T, that is the total cash needs, is 150 million. 150 million is nothing but 150 and 6 ciphers, nothing but 15 crores. And I is the interest rate. Annually it is given as 9%, 0.09 divided by how many transactions to take place. See, in a time period of 12 months, your planning period is 2 months. That means you will do 6 times of transaction. So you have to divide it by 6 transactions. In that case, interest attributable to each transaction will be 0.015. Okay. Now I have got all the data. I gathered all the information to be substituted in the equation. So I just substituted square root of 2BT. B is rupees 6,000 and T is 150M divided by 0.015, which will be, that is the optimum cash balance. C, that is optimum cash balance, rupees 10,954,000 and rupees 451. So this is the conversion size. If the firm goes for a conversion of rupees 10,954,451, it can minimize its total cost, that is both the holding as well as the transaction cost. This is how the optimum cash balance under the Baumol model to be calculated. cash and liquidity management, the Miller and Orr model. In case of Miller-Orr model, our objective is to find out the return point and the upper control point. Miller-Orr model is applicable in case where there is a fluctuation of cash balance randomly, or the fluctuation may be unknown and the cash needs are uncertain. Okay, uncertainty. Under circumstances of uncertainty, this model can be used. Here this model provides two control limits, that is the upper control limit and the lower control limit, and a return point. Let us look at in detail about all these limits. See, cash flows normally fluctuate randomly. The assumption of this model is that cash flows fluctuate randomly and hit the upper limit. At that point in time, as per this model, a firm should purchase marketable securities to come back to normal level or the return point of cash balance. Similarly, is also as per this model, it is believed that cash flows wander and hit the lower limit. So at that point in time, as per this model, a firm, it is better to sell sufficient marketable securities to bring back cash balance to the normal level. That is the return point. So for the given level of lower limit or lower control limit, that is the limit where a firm has to sell marketable securities to bring the cash balance to the normal level, we have to ascertain the upper control limit and the return point. Let us now understand with the help of this graph. Supposing as time varies, your cash balance also fluctuate. It may fluctuate like this. It may at random. You cannot predict. The cash flows will fluctuate randomly, and at one point in time it will hit the upper limit. So at this point in time, as per this model, it is recommended that the firm should purchase securities, that is, convert cash to securities when the cash flows hit the upper control limit or upper limit. Similarly, the objective is to bring down to the return point, to bring down to the normal point. This is your average or return point. Similarly, cash flows, will fluctuate down the line randomly. It may wander down and it may hit the lower limit. At that point in time, it is recommended by this model to sell securities. Sell securities to convert them into cash. So this is called the lower limit and this is the upper limit. So the objective of selling securities, the recommendation to sell securities is to bring back the cash balance to the return point. So the objective of this model is to identify the limit at which the firm should convert cash into securities and securities into cash to maintain the average balance or the return point. Now let us consider a question. Before getting into the question, let us understand the formula. As per this model, the return point is to be calculated using this equation. Third root of 3 multiplied by B and variance. divided by 4i plus lower limit. So B is your transaction cost. I, the interest rate on daily basis, interest rate earned on daily basis on the marketable securities, and variance of daily changes in the expected cash balance. Daily changes expected in the variance of it. This is denoted as small sigma square, like this variance. And lower limit will normally be decided by the firm. And the upper limit is the difference between 3 times of return point minus 2 times of lower limit. So this is how the upper limit and the return point are to be calculated for the given level of lower limit. Now let us consider a question. So the question is focused on computing return point and the upper control limit. Return point and the upper control limit as per the Miller-Orr model. So the company Ajit Associates expects its cash flows to behave in a random manner as assumed by the Miller-Orr model. Okay. The annual yield on marketable securities is 9%. Annual yield. And the fixed cost of effecting marketable securities transaction, that is cost per transaction, is 2,800 rupees, 2,800. And the standard deviation is given as rupees 19,000. But we want the variance. So the square root of variance is equal to standard deviation. And the minimum cash balance required to be maintained is 2,500,000, nothing but 25 lakhs, which is going to be your lower limit, the minimum balance. So with all this information, we are asked to calculate the return point and the upper control limit. So now let us find out the answer. So the return point is equal to third root of 3b transaction cost multiplied by variance times 3 times of transaction cost and the variance divided by 4i plus lower limit. So B, we know from the question, rupees 2,800. And the variance is 19,000 into 19,000. Sorry, 19,000. And I is the interest rate on daily basis. It is given as 9%. So 0.09. Let us assume 360 days a year. So it should be 0.00025 in daily interest rate. And the lower limit as given in question, rupees 2.5 million. Substituting values in the formula, third root of 3 multiplied by the transaction cost, rupees 2,800, plus variance of daily changes in cash balance. Sorry, this will be multiplied by 19,000 into 19,000. Divided by 4 into daily interest rate is 0.0025, 00025, plus lower limit is 2.5 million. So when you simplify the equation and after adding it with 2.5 million, you will get the return point as rupees 2,644,742 is your return point. So using return point, we can calculate the upper control limit, which is nothing but 3 into RP minus 2 lower limit. That is return point minus. So it is nothing but 3 into return point, what we have calculated, 2,644,742. 644,742 minus 2 into 2.5 million. So you will get upper limit of rupees 2,934,226 rupees. So what does it mean? If you put this number in the graph, so your upper limit is 2.934 million. That means when the cash flows fluctuate and hit 2.934 million, it is advisable that the firm should convert cash into securities. To achieve the return point of 2.644 and odd million of return point, if your lower limit as decided by the management is 2.5 million. So when it hits the lower limit, it is recommended that the firm should sell the securities to convert cash to bring the cash balance to the return point of 2.644 million. Whereas when it hits the upper limit of 2.934 million, it is recommended that the firm should convert purchase securities to achieve the return point of 2.644 million. This is how the cash is to be managed under circumstances where uncertainty of cash flows under the Miller-Orr model. Thank you.